Hi, so the following video contains interviews I conducted with two different business owners. So one is operating on a more corporate scale and the other on a more grassroots level. I felt it was imperative from a research perspective to gain two different insights into running a business. And this information gathered in the interviews will then be used to support a skills analysis of my own. So this is Stefano Anselmetti. He is the CEO of Prolifica Inc. They've looked after the likes of Two Door Cinema Club, Circa Waves, and Maximo Parks. So Prolifica are a music company that works in recording, publishing, and management. They also have joint ventures with Pias and Centric. So I wanted to interview Stefano to get a perspective of a business owner that runs a huge corporate company and the kind of skills he needs to work in that environment. Cool. Okay. So Stefano, thank you so much. So just got a few questions regarding business setup and why you kind of got into this business and kind of the issues and that you come into and the skills that you kind of need to set up a business and all of that kind of stuff. So first question, why did you want to start your own business?
Well, I wanted to start my own business because I have never been very good at working for other people, even though I tried it. I particularly enjoyed the challenge of growing a business, and that's really the main reason.
What goes through your mind when you're attempting to sign someone to on a record deal?
Um, on a record deal, well, generally is the music.
Hmm.
First, whether I like it. Secondly, is whether they have ambition to become a proper artist and have a clear artistic vision for what they want to do. And then thirdly is how good of a performer he, she, or they are on a live stage. Because for our kind of business, the live touring element is a very important side of it.
Yeah, so you're quite involved in the kind of A&R part of business, right?
Yeah.
So what kind of technical skills did you need to develop in order to become a good A&R man?
Technically, it's just really just have a basic understanding of how the recording process works, and then how the being able to recognize the musical parts and have a good ear for what parts work, what parts are maybe superfluous, and what parts are essential to the song. Where is the top line melody? Where is the chorus? And what generally will stick into your head after hearing the song for the first time.
Mm. Yeah, because I think something that I'm quite interested in is that obviously we know that music and opinions on certain music is subjective, and it's like, how do you kind of because obviously it's your own opinion whether something is good or not. How do you bring that into what the public want?
You release a song, you never know how well it will connect, but if you generally, you do a bit of testing with radio promoters, with Spotify editors, etc. You try and get some feedback as well.
Yeah.
But please try to keep an ear to the ground and what is actually working in the market at a given time.
You've expanded through joint ventures with Pias and Centric and stuff. And how do you keep that ethos and culture whilst expanding into these different joint ventures?
Well, it's the choice of partners. With PS, it's been a very long relationship. I think the first act we managed at Politica was Maximo Park. And Maximo Park was signed to Warp Records, but distributed through PS. So we've been working with the same people for the best part of 16 years already. And the joint venture only came about around 4 years ago. And if they share your culture and your vision, that's then an easy choice to make. It's mainly, we work with people that are just extremely passionate about music.
Obviously, issues regarding equality and diversity and inclusivity, all of those things, it's obviously a huge topic within the music industry at the moment. I was just wondering how you kind of navigate that, both in terms of like who you sign and who works for you.
Well, in terms of inclusivity and from an artist's point of view, it doesn't really. It's not a conscious kind of decision that we make, or we need to go sign a girl or a guy or a black artist or a gay band or a transsexual band, just simply because we think that the market needs that kind of thing. So we still purely decide on talent, artistic vision, and ambition.
Right.
So we don't have any particular policy that says, oh, we need to do that just because we have to, kind of thing. It really just the music leads more than anything else.
Yeah. Right. Well, I think that's it. Thanks so much for taking the time. Yeah, maybe you one day if I'm with Ollie, come down to a gig, maybe.
I look forward to it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So this is Ollie McDade. He is the CEO of Snail Promotions. They organise bespoke events for and with young aspiring musicians. He also plays guitar in an indie band called Living Island. He's the marketing executive for Pub in the Park festivals. So I think it's important to understand different perspectives of running a business. And I wanted to interview Ollie to find out what kind of skills are needed to run a smaller, more grassroots business. Hey, Ollie.
Hey, Otto. How's it going?
How's it going, man?
Yeah, good. How's it on your end?
Yeah, sweet. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to do this. I really appreciate it.
No worries.
Yeah, I'm just going to ask you a few questions about running a business and what you do at Snail Promotions and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get into it.
Right.
So how important is the venue when you're setting up a night? Yeah, what goes into a decision when you're picking one?
The venue's crucial, really. When I'm looking at booking an act, it's sort of looking at their history, looking at their hype at the minute, what sort of engagement they're getting, and then sizing a venue and picking a venue based on that. So sort of making sure that it's a progressive move is really important in promotion. So making sure that you take a band from a 150 cap and you then put them on at a 350, or you move up each time. That's a really important move, just publicly in terms of PR and making sure that band visually look like they've got the hype. That's really important. And I guess the venue comes into that. It's kind of sizing the right venue. It's finding the right space that works. It's also about who you're working with. So, building a good relationship with the venue managers and with the events managers there is really important when I'm putting on my own nights.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, so you talked about marketing before and how important it is. And I guess I want to know what kind of goes through your mind when you're thinking about designing posters and Instagram posts, Facebook posts for an event.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so when I'm designing the posters or Facebook events and all that stuff, I'm really thinking about the campaign. So I'm thinking about where along the campaign we're sitting, particularly in London over the past, like since lockdown, it's changed dramatically in terms of how many people buy advance tickets versus how many people buy on the day for some events. It's just the nature of it, or you buy on the week or it's very much your crucial time now is 2 weeks leading up. So I try and sort of angle my marketing, so I'm spending most of the budget at that point. But yeah, I think when I'm looking at design and things, I'm always looking for an angle with Snail. That's a big part of it, is finding artists and creatives who can make something new and exciting, something that's like worth coming to watch because it is fresh and it's got a new angle to it.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. And obviously you work with Ella
with the Mascot series.
Yeah, why did you choose Ella? Why did you think her kind of style like fit Snail?
I think Snail's always been about good vibes, keeping it light-hearted, keeping sort of good energy in the room. And Ella definitely, in my personal life, Ella's definitely a person who brings that. It's just filled with joy and completely the ethos that I want to carry forward with events. And so I knew that she had a series of work with the Mascots. I spoke to a friend of mine who was in like music media basically, and he was writing at the time for different publications online. And we sort of came up with a Mascot series, and I said, well, I've got, because we wanted something that had art involved in it, because the art and music combined is really important. And that is again what provides like a really strong marketing angle. So yeah, it's a codependent relationship as well. I mean, in terms of it provides another angle to sell the event, but also it provides a platform for the artists themselves to actually like shine in a less pressured context than an exhibition which is solely focused on them. And I think Ella's work's perfect for that. It really embodies the whole Snail spirit.
You obviously worked in marketing for Pub in the Park. What kind of skills did that experience give you?
I think mainly it was learning about campaigns and how they work, thinking about how varied campaigns are, because especially with Pub in the Park, it was because it's a touring music and food festival. It's we've got 8 locations, and all of the 8 locations act differently. So it's kind of thinking about target audiences and how they act, and splitting those and splitting your budget according to how your campaign normally will go. So in London, again, like it's a tougher market to be a promoter. It's a tougher market to sell tickets, purely because there's so much going on. And also at the minute, because of COVID restrictions, or if someone does get COVID, then they're not as confident to buy a ticket as they once were. But yeah, it's kind of what I've learned from Pub in the Park is really wide, and also thinking about target audiences and giving people a why. Giving people a why should I go? That's thinking about those things, and thinking about those things in a context that isn't necessarily my comfort target audience. So I'm not marketing to myself. I'm kind of marketing to older people, like a range of people in different areas, which brings new challenge, but I've learned a lot from it. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so you use Facebook quite a lot with the marketing side. Why do you use Facebook?
Good question. This is something I'm thinking about at the minute, but to be honest, there's not the same event platform on Instagram. Obviously, when it comes to Snail, the people I'm marketing to are mainly on Instagram, and most of the efforts go on Instagram. But I will set up a Facebook event purely because if people know that they've got a set date and you can return back to that event page, there's a sort of event hub then.
Yeah.
Which isn't really replicated on any other platform at the minute. So that's the main reason that I still use it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so final question. So aside from obviously making a profit or breaking even, what in your mind makes a night successful?
Making sure all the musicians get paid fairly is definitely that's why I do Snail. Making sure that things are split fairly between bands and no one's getting, you know, screwed over is really important to me, ethically. I also think it's really important to have a good customer experience. So if they're enjoying themselves and they, you know, and there's a recognition, especially with the mascot series, because there is a level of branding, there's a level of recognition that people could return to. It's about getting those return customers, getting those people back for the next month, the next mascot series, you know, all, and then hopefully all future Snail gigs.
Yeah, great. Cool. Well, thank you very much, Ollie. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Also,
see you at the next one.
yeah, cheers.